Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Collective Clicks podcast. Today, I have a pretty interesting interview with Brad Bone. Brad, I asked him to come on the podcast because he recently figured out how to get AI lead nurturing working in his CRM properly. He's helping some other people do the same. I'm going to ask him a bunch of questions about that. It'll be short and sweet, and hopefully you'll learn something. Thank you. Brad, welcome to the podcast.
Good to be here, Brandon.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk. For those that don't know you personally, if you could share a little bit about yourself and what you're doing, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So my twin brother and I have a real estate investing business. We live in California, work in Jacksonville, Florida. So we've been in Jacksonville since 2018. We have boots on the ground there. So we buy in person, do a lot of novation and assignments. So we've been in business since 2015. So I've been in business for a while and doing that. And then we're also doing we have a kind of an AI service company as well that we started recently.
Cool. That's awesome. And you didn't mention it, but a pistachio farm, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So we come from a farming background and so we're in the pistachio business. I'm not as involved in that. My brother's more involved. So that's our background.
Yeah. That's, I remember we met at an investor fuel. I think you brought like some pistachios for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's a fun fact. Sounds like not like the main thing that you're engaged in on a daily basis.
Right.
Tell me about the AI company. Where'd that come from?
So that's been a fairly more of a recent thing that we started. We signed up with WooSender AI, which they're the leading conversational AI platform out there. They're used by about 12,000 different companies, including the U.S. Army. U.S. Army uses them for recruiting, like doing all their follow-up in recruiting high school and college students. So I was doing a lot of research into AI companies because I feel like the biggest thing AI can help our industry is follow-up. They can do a lot of other things too, but follow-up is where AI can really help, and re-engaging those sellers, doing all that heavy lifting that we're all bad at. So we signed up with them early this year and spent kind of the first part of the year just figuring out the integration with the CRM and figuring out how to make it work. And we were getting a lot of success with it. So then we became resellers and we've taken WooSender and basically customize it for real estate investors. And then we're able to offer it at a pretty flexible pricing and flexible terms that make it make sense for people to just go directly through us. If you're a real estate investor. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. That's awesome. So, I mean, yeah. From your experience as like somebody using this in your business is actually something I'm kind of curious about. How would you compare the outcome of all of this to what most people are doing, like lead managers, VAs, something like that?
Yeah. So I think most people just don't do follow-up very well. And we're all just inherently bad at it. Like if we were to do it at a really high level, it would be really expensive. We hire some really good salespeople who would hammer the phones all the time. And we just don't, that's not how we do it. We almost kind of put the lower paid, lower skill people on follow-up. And it's actually kind of the backward way of doing it in a lot of ways because the money's in the follow-up. So the truth is no one's doing it at a super high level, even if we're doing it as good as everyone else. So what this has resulted for us is like in the first about 5 months, we've contracted 15 extra deals that the AI has reengaged. They've reengaged those sellers, and then we've been able to get contracts on them. So we're seeing like for sure huge return on what we've done. Yeah.
So is that the primary use of the AI right now? You're just like putting it on old leads in the database, or are you using it in newer leads too?
There's actually 3 different uses. One is maybe the one that I've talked about the most is integrating it with your CRM and then letting the AI handle the daily follow-up that happens. Like let's say a lead comes in, we try to call them back. We're not able to get a hold of them. We push that into what we call unresponsive in our CRM. Some people call it like no contact made or whatever. Well, in the past, the way we would have a process where our team needs to hit those people for the next 7 days. And they're still supposed to do that. But what happens is we start focusing on the new leads and those kind of go on the back burner. But what we've done is when we integrate it with the AI, it pushes that over to the AI, and the AI, you can build out a process however you want, but we have a hammer campaign that it does, and it's gonna do it. It's not, doesn't get tired. It just does it. And then we notice those leads like popping up as new appointments, because when the AI re-engages and sets the appointment, it sends it right back to the CRM. So all of a sudden we have lead management appointments coming back up on the schedule because of what the AI has done. So that's one aspect of it, but we can also have it handle brush leads, and we can also turn it loose on outbound. So there's kind of 3 different uses for it.
Okay. What's your experience with those other 2 uses?
The outbound we just started doing outbound recently. We turned it loose on an 80/20 list, and we're still kind of dialing in some of the copy. We haven't had a ton of success with that, but we're doing kind of low volume also. It's like a list of about 3,000 contacts. So it's going to take a little while to start to pull in leads there. Fresh leads though have been really good. Like we had it going over Labor Day weekend, and it set a handful of appointments for Tuesday to get on the phone. So you can have this do your after hours and, weekend type leads, and just, it's engaging with the seller, setting the appointment.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hard to manage leads a lot of those times. And it does this through text message?
Text message and email is how it does it. Yeah.
Okay. So no like phone calls or anything?
No. Voice AI is coming, but it's not quite here yet. And I don't know how that's actually what that's going to look like exactly, but that is supposed to be coming. Yeah.
Yeah. No. That's the harder one.
Yeah.
Text message is like a little bit easy.
Right.
That's cool. What's something for anybody that's looking into doing something like this themselves? What's something that you learned that was like surprising or you wouldn't have foreseen?
So one thing that I thought was interesting is, so we've got on the follow-up piece, there's it's handling unresponsive leads. It's handling like just regular drip follow-up. So it's also doing kind of your regular follow-ups. It's also doing follow-up over on the opportunity side of our CRM, which is those have already had appointments. So there's different types of automations going out based on where you're sitting in the follow-up plan. But one thing I've noticed is the unresponsives we're getting a lot of success with the unresponsives. And I was trying to figure out why that is. And I think it's because when someone sends a lead form or calls us or something, and we try to get back to them right away, we're pretty good on speed to lead, and they don't answer, that means they're busy. That means they just had a small window of time to try to talk to us. We missed it. And it may take us another day or 2 to get a hold of them. The AI happens to get good success. And the reason is because when they respond, the AI is responding within seconds. And I think that's the difference. We can have automated outbound or automated follow-up happening, but when they respond, often it might take us an hour to get back to them because we're on a phone call with somebody else or whatever. And that's where the big difference is. Like we all have automated follow-up, but we don't have immediate AI response when those responses come in. So yeah.
That makes sense. Super cool. Wow. You've been up to quite a bit of stuff with the 2 businesses. So what's your plan moving forward? Are you focusing just on this AI? Are you still doing the real estate business?
Yeah.
More?
We're focusing on both. Yeah. We're focusing pretty heavily on both. I was thinking like, is this a shiny object? And I don't think it is, and the reason is because it's so integral to what our core business is, which is the real estate investing business. So this just becomes a really natural, easy kind of business to take on because it's so integrated with what we're doing anyway. So we're going to push both of these. I'm really pushing on the RiverX side and trying to grow that, but we're pushing the other business as well. So yeah.
Very cool. Cool. Is there, what can you say about the cost of implementing something like this in someone's business?
Yeah. So it's not like there's a lot of really cheap bots out there, AI bots that are based on ChatGPT. And some of those you can pick up for like $40 a month or whatever. There's some cheap ones. The difference with ours is quite a bit more expensive than that. It's roughly the cost of like a cheap VA. So it's quite a bit more expensive, but the difference is you're getting a full platform with automations and cadences built out. that like it's multi-layered. So it's got email, text, voice drops. You can even tie it in with your Facebook Messenger to handle incoming Facebook Messenger, responses that come in, or like a website chat bot. You tie it in with that. So it's multi-layered and it's TCPA friendly. So it's not gonna get you in trouble that way if you use it correctly. So yeah, it's basically a full platform, not just the AI bot. I think the other really important thing about it is a lot of the cheap bots are built on ChatGPT, which is a large language model, which means someone engages with them and you can go down all kinds of rabbit holes. It might talk to you about history or, whatever. This thing is a selective language model. Its goal is to set an appointment. So when someone engages, it's just trying to set the appointment. And a lot of businesses don't want anything to do with ChatGPT because it's uncontrollable. It's kind of like gasoline is really cool when you light a match and see it flame up, but it doesn't become useful until you put it into an engine and it drives a car forward. And that's like a selected language model like this one, where it's directing all that AI towards a use case, which is we want appointment set. And that's the power of it.
Very cool. Let's just say I'm interested in this and I want to, explore this on my own in some way. What would you say to somebody who wants to do that versus working with you? What are the pros or cons?
Yeah. So if if you're interested, you can go direct to our website, which is riverxai.com, and you can set up a demo call through that. One thing you're getting by coming through us, and we are a reseller, we're not really a middleman though, in the sense that we're giving you a full, it's a full account. It's not like a dumbed down version or a scaled down version. We're not putting our own like weird account that you're having to interface with WooCenter or anything like that. It's a regular account that you have. We just give you all the customization that a real estate investor is going to want and the recipes to integrate with your CRM. So those are things that I know real estate investors want. We don't want to have to manage two systems at once, like a CRM and this. We want them to talk together, keep leads organized, keep everything in the right place. And so that's what we've really built on top of it in order to bring a lot of value to investors. So, and then, the prices, we're pretty flexible on price as well versus going direct.
That's super cool. If somebody wants to learn more, where do they go?
RiverXai.com, or you can reach out to me. You can find me on Facebook, Brad Bone. I think I'm probably one of the few on there.
Fair enough. Cool. Well, thank you, Brad. I appreciate the conversation. It's super, super interesting to learn about what you're doing. Because I know a lot of people are seeing that this is becoming more popular, but we're still kind of like in the early days.
Right. Right.
Hopefully it starts like in a business. So it's cool to talk to somebody that's done it.
Yeah, definitely. Happy to talk to anybody interested.
Yeah. Thank you, Brad, for taking the time today. And for everybody else listening, I'll see you next week.